But due to the strikes, it has been kind of put into limbo territory, and we've been told that it's just gonna release when it's ready, which I think is a very funny statement. I'm also very, very excited about what we'll actually get on March 29th, Bong Joon-ho's next film, Mickey 17. A lot of things that I may have even predicted before and was excited to see did get pushed to this year. Now entering 2025, we have a lot more prospects, and it is going to be a pretty big year. I mean, barring anything else I say that's going to age poorly. So let's go ahead and run down some of my most anticipated movies of 2025. I'm going to go ahead and try and go through dates and maybe make some kind of sense of it that way. Starting off, we have The Materialist. I'm starting with this one because it's very high up there on my hype list for the year, but there's no real release date for it. At least as of the time of me speaking these words into this camera, and unless I'm about to cut in here with an edit, there's no release date as of the time of me editing me speaking these words into this camera. So that's cool. But Celine Song, the director and writer, became one for me to perk my ears up to anytime I hear her name, because she gave us Past Lives, and I am just gonna be forever grateful for that. So when I hear that she's made a romantic comedy about a professional matchmaker who finds herself caught in a love triangle, it's gonna catch my attention, and it's gonna keep my attention when you hear about the cast. Chris Evans, Dakota Johnson, Pedro Pascal, and even Meryl Streep's daughter. It's her sophomore film after she crushed it on her debut, so I'm rooting for her. Please support her work and check this out with me when it comes out. February 14th, we get Captain America Brave New World. Now look, I get it, alright? Marvel movies since Endgame have been a huge mixed bag. The definition of a mixed bag. The highs have been pretty good. The lows have been very, very low. I mean, honestly, when it comes to the Marvel thing, that could be its own video for a separate time altogether. But it's important to recognize that this year, Marvel's gonna give us 3 movies. 3 movies that all have the potential to really right the ship since Keven Feige took charge again. And I'm confident in what I have seen so far. We got a trailer for Captain America Brave New World, and they stuck with what made Captain America shine. They made a subgenre within the comic book realm of a political thriller. It's a political thriller movie. We know that these work because of movies like Winter Soldier, because of the first Captain America Civil War. These movies hit in a way that kind of separates itself from just another comic book movie. So I was really happy to see that they're going to stick with that for this one. Like, I know we're going to get into this later in this video just because of what's coming out this year. But the comic book movie genre as a whole, it can't afford anything good at this point. They got to be great. Like, if we're really going to try and get back to where we were with everything that led up to Endgame and that era where you could just go to a Marvel movie and expect it to be great, not good, but great. This year, every comic book movie this year has to be great because we have been struggling to defend this genre. The good is, at least for this one, won't have to wait too much longer. Leading into the next, we have Paddington in Peru, which is the same opening weekend. So it's gonna be a weird double feature that I am just all the way in for. For those who have not seen them, the Paddington movies are as amazing and as charming as you have always been told and heard. I promise you, this is one of those where I know you're gonna hear the same things over and over. It lives up to it. It lives up to it and more. They're just solid movies and on a technical scale, but also so pleasant and delightful. And I always feel so comfortable when I'm watching them and cozy when I walk out. And so, yeah, Paddington in Peru. From what I understand, still continues to be A+ movies. Next up, we have what we'll actually get on March 29th. Mickey 17. I definitely spoke about this movie in a way that would mock the Spider-Verse's delay, and that has aged like milk. But this is it. This is where we get Bong Joon-ho's Mickey 17. It was if not my highest anticipated movie of last year. I think Dune just nudged it out. I kept going back and forth between the two. But regardless, Mickey 17 is going to be a movie that everybody and their mother is going to talk about after they see it. The track record for Bong Joon-ho shows that to be true. If you want to hear a little bit more about that, you can see my list for 2024. But here, now, we actually have a trailer to go off of. And the trailer kind of confirms what I'm talking about. Robert Pattinson's gonna kill it with his performances. The script and the story is gonna be weird, but also very, very interesting. The movie looks like it's gonna be extremely high quality. So, yeah. So I've said it once, I'll say it again. Put this on your list. I don't care what you think about Robert Pattinson. I don't care if you haven't seen any of these other movies. Put Mickey 17 on your list. It's gonna be great. I can assure you that. Barring I don't say anything that's gonna age poorly from another delay. Here's hoping. March 28th, we have Death of a Unicorn, another movie that I thought for sure was coming out last year. Not gonna complain because it's A24. So if they're still putting this much into it and they're not trying to just secretly bury it like they do other films, that tells me that they have a lot of confidence in this one to maintain their quality A24 name, all right? So that's a good sign. It's got a fun cast, fun premise. I'm just very curious how they managed to actually make this movie. So we'll check it out. June 27th, and we have F1. This is one where even before adding Brad Pitt, who's just an actor that I tend to really enjoy seeing him on screen just because of how good his performances tend to be. But the movie is directed by Joseph Kosinski, and he made a movie that is so damn good that one of the greatest of all time has credited him to saving the movie theater industry and bringing people back in. So if his follow-up is F1, I'm all the way in for that too. Jump into April 28th, and we have Sinners. Now, this is a movie that should be on everybody's list because of history speaking for itself. It is the duo of the director Ryan Coogler and the actor Michael B. Jordan. Yes, Michael B. Jordan. This team has had my attention since Fruitvale Station and has only continued to amaze and astound me with every installment that they work on with each other. They're fantastic. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be a horror movie. It's gonna be a vampire movie. Yeah, no, let's get weird with it. I want to see what Ryan Coogler can do when he's really stretched past something grounded. May 23rd, and we have Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Now, is this gonna be the last one? I don't know. These movies make a lot of money and have a gold standard for what you want in a blockbuster. They do. They have everything you can want. They're genuinely great stunts, convoluted yet somewhat grounded enough plot to matter, and a budget that makes the spy genre shine. What more could you want? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Put this on your list. Heading into May, we have May 2nd with The Thunderbolts. This will be Marvel's take at Suicide Squad. We're gonna have a bunch of villains teaming up and hoping to see some weird dynamics and a lot of tension. The trailer suggests that that's exactly what we're gonna get. Marvel is really going for it with this one, and I just hope that they can give us a great character movie, because that's kind of what this needs to be. It's just a great character movie. May 30th, we have The Life of Chuck. Tom Hiddleston's in the lead. Tom Hiddleston's one of those actors that I am always rooting for. I really like this guy as Loki, and I just want him to be able to break out of that so badly. So hopefully this is the one to do it. Outside of Marvel, he's really only impressed me in Crimson Peak, but I really like Crimson Peak. And you're gonna have Nick Offerman as a voiceover, so that's gonna be cool. Look, if there's anything to actually sell you on adding this movie to your list for the year 2, it should be that it won the coveted Audience Award at the Toronto Film Festival this past year. So that's usually a very good one-to-one indicator for how good quality or success a movie will have when it gets released to a wider audience past the film festival. July 2nd, we have Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't know, guys. I'm kind of over these movies. I really like the first Jurassic World, and then Fallen Kingdom really just did nothing for me. I haven't even seen the latest one that just came out, Dominion, and I don't really plan to. So yeah, there's really not much that this movie has going for it, playing off of the legacy of Jurassic Park, which is just one of the best, but I don't know. It has just enough interest for me to where maybe this time around a Jurassic movie is going to get me back in the theater. We'll see. July 11th, and we have Superman. Now, this is the new Superman, all right? This is the new DC. James Gunn and Peter Safran have taken charge, all right? So they are leading DC into this whole new era. This is our reset, all right? This is part of the reason why we are struggling when it comes to the comic book genre, because of the stuff that DC has also put out. It's hand in hand with a loss in quality. And so now when it comes to reintroducing an audience to DC movies, unless you're one of the diehards who have been sticking with this, like Zack Snyder diehard, you're gonna need a lot of persuading to get back into DC movies like you would Marvel before Endgame. And so, I don't know, I feel like of everything that Marvel also has to gain back with its audiences, DC has to do it all with this one movie. Superman has to be great. It cannot afford to be anything less than that. It is going to set the tone for the next 10 years of movies. This movie, this one movie, has all of that weighing on it. Trailer came out and it looks super comic booky. But in James Gunn I trust. So, yeah. July 25th, and we have Fantastic Four First Steps. Coming off the back of several attempts at making the Fantastic Four a thing, and just several attempts of it, absolutely not. Marvel is putting a lot into where it's going forward, because where it is now has got to pivot. That was a sentence, I promise, somewhere in there. Moving on, September 26th, we have The Bride. It's got Christian Bale, Jesse Buckley, Peter Skarsgård, Penelope Cruz, and Jake Gyllenhaal. And it's even being written and directed by his older sister, Maggie Gyllenhaal, coming off of her debut as a director back in 2021. Definitely check it out if the cast doesn't get you alone, right? And it won't even be the only Frankenstein movie you're gonna get this year. So it'd be kind of cool to see multiple takes on it. And in October 10th, then we have Tron Ares. Tron is one of those IPs that does a lot for me and a lot of other people. I think it's a very niche audience still, so hopefully Tron Ares can actually break through into, quality-wise, into being something amazing to where everybody has to see it. It has all the potential to be something huge. So let's fingers crossed this one really knocks it out of the park. November 7th, we have Bugonia. I don't know. Look, it's Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos. So all of their movies thus far have been very weird, but so good. November 21st, and we have Wicked for Good. What they managed to do with the first Wicked this past year was just truly astonishing. It was such a theatrical experience for me, and such peak filmmaking when it came to the sets, the acting. Obviously the story was going to be good. Obviously the music was going to be good. I've seen the Broadway play before. I know where the story goes after intermission, which is where Wicked left off. It's just as good, and the story continues to ramp up. So if you've actually given Wicked a chance, you've sat down, you've watched it, I'm gonna really find it hard to believe that you're not gonna want to see Wicked for Good opening weekend. There's gonna be an original song in it. Fingers crossed. I think they're doing it because the first half of the play is a lot more heavy with the big hits for its soundtrack than the second half. So I think this is gonna kind of fill that gap, and I don't know why, but I'm pretty optimistic about it. And December 19th with Avatar, Fire and Ash. I freaking love these Avatar movies. They matter. Like, regardless of what you think about them, regardless of how you feel about them, these movies do matter. And I don't mean to sound as mellow when talking about Avatar. It's just these movies are so good and so impactful and so important. And James Cameron is a visionary director with a box office record that will dominate probably forever. And yet somehow people still turn to these Avatar movies and pretend not to like them. I don't get it. I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle in a few that we just didn't have release dates for. For instance, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. If you haven't seen Knives Out, I don't know who you are, but you've been under a rock. They're fantastic. The follow-up, Glass Onion, also fantastic. And so, yeah, it's made by a guy who gave me Looper. I will always love Rian Johnson for giving me Looper. I will always hate Rian Johnson for giving me Star Wars The Last Jedi. But Knives Out was great. Another one to mention, we have on July 4th, Trey Parker and Matt Stones, the creators of South Park. They're making a comedy musical with Kendrick Lamar. So that's all I really need to know. Just take my money, I'm in to see whatever the hell that is. I don't necessarily know what to expect of it, so that's why I didn't really want to include it in the overall list, but for me, I will be watching that. Also, end of the year, December 25th, we'll have Marty Supreme. Just as the Bob Dylan biopic finished this past year with Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme will finish this year with Timothée Chalamet. It's not gonna be a biopic, it's gonna be a fictional movie, but it's gonna be about ping pong. So, yeah. Directed by Joshua Safdie, one half of the duo that brought us Uncut Gems and Good Time with Robert Pattinson. It's going to be a great movie, and it's going to have Timothée Chalamet, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Tyler, the Creator. Yeah, I'll see that. And of course, the other Frankenstein movie for this year, Guillermo del Toro's rendition of Frankenstein. You got Guillermo del Toro directing Oscar Isaac. It's a recipe for success somewhere. May not like all of Guillermo del Toro's films, but even the ones I don't like, I can always appreciate the acting and direction involved. So yeah, I'm in. But that'll about do it for me here. We have ourselves a full calendar year for movies. Hopefully there's nothing I've missed. And if I did miss, I will interject right now. Alright, so turns out I did forget about 2 bigger movies this summer, one of which I'm genuinely kind of surprised I forgot about when I made this list. And I'm genuinely very excited for it. This is like my favorite animated trilogy ever. That's barring an ending to one that could be an obvious replacement. But when it comes to animated remakes, like in live action, the bar is so low, and yet the success rate is somehow even lower. So it's weird. This is weird, right? To be so excited for a movie and already kind of hate it, and just want to be there opening weekend, but also really, really hope that it actually turns out even good. Like and that goes for this guy too. Stitch, you better be good. All right, just don't. You know what? Just don't be terrible. Let's go for that. Don't be terrible. All right, perfect. When it comes to movie going, we're back in action solidly. So hopefully by the time this year is done, one of these movies has ended up being your favorite for the year too. Go ahead and subscribe, like, and please comment down below, because I am curious which one of these movies is your most anticipated. What are some that you're very excited about for this year and you plan on checking out as soon as it's released? I have a good feeling Wicked's going to be pretty high up there on these votes, but who knows? Share this video around and make sure you're keeping an eye out for these movies as they come out. Until then, I will see you on the next one.